we come to the sixth part of the middleweight boxing history. So we've finished on James Toney v Michael McCallum. Now along comes one of them once in a lifetime fighters, Roy Jones. So May the 22nd, 1993, Roy Jones wins on points over 12 rounds against Bernard Hopkins. That was in Washington DC. 12 rounds over points. Decision over Bernard Hopkins. Lovely. So we've got, again, May the 27th, 1994, Roy Jones wins in the second round against Thomas Tate. In the second round, referee stops the fight. Second round, Thomas Tate from the US in Las Vegas, Nevada. Jones relinquishes the title to box at super middle. So December the 16th, 1994. December the 16th, 1994. Bernard Hopkins draws with Segundo Mercado from Ecuador, and that was in Quito, Ecuador, for the vacant title there, vacant IBF title. There'll be much more to come from Bernard Hopkins. So April the 29th, 1995, Bernard Hopkins wins in the 7th round against Segundo Mercado from Landover. Sorry, in Landover, not from Landover. Segundo Mercado's from Ecuador, and it was in Landover. January 27th, 1996, Bernard Hopkins wins in the first round. Referee stops the fight in the first round against Steve Frank from the US in Phoenix, Arizona. Then March the 16th, 1996, Bernard Hopkins wins in the fourth round. Referee stops the fight against Joe Lipsy from the US. That's in Las Vegas. Then July the 16th, 1996, Bernard Hopkins wins in the 11th round. Referee stops the fight against William James from the US, Atlantic City, New Jersey. April the 19th, 1997, Bernard Hopkins wins in the 7th round. Referee stops the fight against John David Jackson in Shreveport. Then July 29th, 1997, Bernard Hopkins wins in the 11th round. Referee stops the fight against Glenn Johnson from the US in Indiana. November the 18th, 1997, Bernard Hopkins wins over 12 rounds on points over Andrew Council from the US in Upper Marlboro. So again, that's Upper Marlboro. He fought in there. So yeah, Bernard Hopkins beats Andrew Council from the US over 12 rounds. January 31st, 1998, Bernard Hopkins wins in the 6th round. Referee stops the fight over Simon Brown from Jamaica, Atlantic City, New Jersey. August the 28th, 1998, Bernard Hopkins wins in the 4th round against Robert Allen, no contest, from the United States in Las Vegas. February 6th, 1999, Bernard Hopkins wins in the 7th round. Referee stops the fight against Robert Allen from Washington. December 12th, 1999, Bernard Hopkins wins on points over 12 rounds against Antoine Eccles from the US. Antoine Eccles from the US, and he beats him in Miami, Florida. So, May the 13th, 2000, Bernard Hopkins wins on points over 12 rounds against Seed Van Der Poel from Canada in Indiana. December the 1st, 2000, Bernard Hopkins wins in the 10th round. Referee stops the fight against Antoine Eccles from the US in Las Vegas. The WBA title now. The old foe Colombi comes back. So, October the 23rd, 1987, Sambo Colombi from Zaire. Again, a few different countries he fought under. I think Italy was one of them. But hey-ho. Again, Sambo Colombi and Denmark. And might have been Italy as well. I'm not too sure. But I know Denmark was one of them. But anyway, here we go. So, October the 23rd, 1987, Sambo Colombi from Zaire wins on points over Iron Barkley in Livorno, Italy. Then March the 5th, 1988, Sambo Colombi wins on points again over 12 rounds over Michael McCallum. Gets a 12 rounds points decision over Michael McCallum in Pesaro, Italy. Now, June the 12th, 1988, Sambo Colombi wins on points over 12 rounds against Robbie Sims from the US, who was Marvin Hagler's brother. Beats him over 12 rounds. Sambo Colombi, that's in Ravenna, Italy. I swear he fought under Italy, the banner of Italy at one point. I might be wrong. And Denmark at another time, Sambo Colombi. So, November the 8th, 1988, Sambo Colombi wins in his 7th round by KO in the 7th round against Doug DeWitt from the US. Again, Marvin Hagler's old sparring partner, Doug DeWitt, really tough. In Monte Carlo. Beats me in Monte Carlo, Monaco. So, March 1989, Colombo was stripped for failing to defend against Harold Graham. I know Harold Graham beat him as well, Sambo Colombi. I think it was a 10-rounder, but it wasn't for a title, somewhere along the line. So, good reason to not fight him there. Yeah, very underrated, Harold Graham. But anyway, I digress here. So, May the 10th, 1989, Mike McCallum wins on points over Harold Graham from Sheffield, England, over 12 rounds. I remember that fight. It was a, very good technical fight. That was in London, England. And then so here we got February the 3rd, 1990, Mike McCallum beats Steve Collins over 12 rounds on points. Steve Collins from Ireland will come back to do a lot more in Boston, Massachusetts. Then April the 14th, 1990, Mike McCallum wins by KO in the 11th round against Michael Watson. Really brave performance by Watson. And he was really on his game that night, McCallum. 11th round KO over Michael Watson from England. Lovely. And that was in England, London. So, April the 1st, 1991, Mike McCallum wins on points over Sambo Colombi, gets his revenge over 12 rounds points in Monte Carlo, Monaco. Then the WBA stripped McCallum for agreeing to box for James Toney's IBF title. April the 22nd, 1992, Reggie Johnson wins on points over 12 rounds against Steve Collins in East Rutherford, New Jersey, for the vacant title. October the 27th, 1992, Reggie Johnson wins on points over 12 rounds against Lamar Parks from the US in Houston, Texas. January the 19th, 1993, Reggie Johnson wins in the 8th round by referee stop in a fight against Kil Yan Song from Korea. Ki Young Song from Korea. That was in Boise. So, May the 4th, 1993, Reggie Johnson wins on points over Wayne Harris from the US in Denver, Colorado. October the 1st, 1993, John David Jackson beats Reggie Johnson over 12 rounds points decision in Buenos Aires, Argentina. Now, May 1994, John David Jackson was stripped of his WBA title for taking a non-title fight without having first sought their permission. So we got August the 14th, 1994, George Castro from Argentina wins on points over 12 rounds against Reggie Johnson. That's in Tucumán, Argentina, for the vacant title. Then November the 5th, 1994, George Castro wins in the second round against Alex Ramos. That was in Caleta, Olivia, in Argentina. Going to adjust up here. So from there, so we got December the 10th, 1994, George Castro wins in a 9th round, referee stopping the fight against John David Jackson. That was in Monterrey, Mexico. May the 27th, 1995, George Castro wins in the 12th round, referee stops the fight against Anthony Andrews from Guyana in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Yeah. And then, so we got October the 14th, 1995, George Castro wins on points over Reggie Johnson for 12 rounds points in Comodoro e Rivadavia in Argentina. Now we've got June the 24th, 1996, William Joppy from the US wins in the 9th round, referee stops the fight against Shinji Takahama. And that was in Yokohama, Japan. And I would lay odds he's Japanese, Shinji Takahara. So we've got 1996, October the 19th, William Joppy wins in his 6th round, referee stopping the fight against Ray McElroy from the US. So, Ray McElroy from the US, he wins in his 6th round. William Joppy. And that was in Upper Marlborough. That's in Upper Marlborough. So, So May the 10th, 1997, William Joppy wins on points over 12 rounds against Peter Venancio from Brazil in Coconut Grove, Florida. So William Joppy beats Peter Venancio from Brazil in Coconut Grove, Florida. So we go. So we're going to go and just adjust up a little bit. Yes, so here we go. So (1997) Julia Caesar Green wins on points over 12 rounds against William Joppy in New York. So January the 31st, New Year's Eve, 1998, William Joppy wins on points against Julius Caesar Green. He gets his revenge in Tampa, Florida. Then August the 28th, 1998, William Joppy wins in the third round. Referee stops the fight against Roberto Duran from Panama in Las Vegas. That one wasn't nice to watch. Duran quite a few weights up from what he first started his career. Ended up fighting at super middle as well, but and come down for that. And he started at lightweight, Roberto Duran, but end of his career, there he was. So anyway, September 24th, 1999, William Joppy wins in the 7th round, referee stopping the fight against Julius Caesar Green. That's in Washington, D.C. And then May the 20th, 2000, William Joppy wins in the first round, referee stops the fight against Rito Ruvalcaba from Mexico. That was in Tunica. And then it comes to the top here to finish up here. So September the 16th, 2000, William Joppy wins on points over 12 rounds against Hassim Sharif of France. And then December the 2nd, 2000, William Joppy wins. Referee stops the fight against Jonathan Reed, the US Olympian, in Las Vegas, Nevada. And then to finish here, May the 12th, 2001, Felix Trinidad from Puerto Rico wins in the 5th round. Referee stops the fight against William Joppy in New York. Felix Trinidad then fought Bernard Hopkins in a WBA, WBC and IBF unification fight on September 29th, 2001 in New York. The WBC title, which we're going to leave it here after this one, October the 29th, 1987, Thomas Hearns wins his 5th weight division. He steps down to fight. He beats Dominic Roldan in the 4th round, really good knockout, clubbing knockout in Las Vegas, Nevada for the vacant title. That's where we're going to leave it. Bang.